Welcome to the lesson. This is Indices Rule 3, Power of a Power. And what this lesson deals with is when you have an expression raised to a power, and then that is also raised to a power. So let's have more detail and crack on and get the job done. 10 to the power of 4 squared means 10 to the power of 4 times 10 to the power of 4. And using the addition rule, rule 1, that gives us 10 to the power of 8. When we have a power to a power, we simply multiply the powers. So to summarize that more generally, a to the power of m, when raised to the power n, we multiply the two powers, m times n. 10 squared to the power 3 means 10 squared times 10 squared times 10 squared. Using the addition rule, rule 1, that's 3 lots of 2, that's 10 to the power of 6. So once again, we can see that when we have a power raised to a power, we multiply the two powers. So bearing that in mind, be thinking, what do you think the answer to this will be? We multiply the powers, and it's 9 to the power of 6. Seven cubed, all to the power of negative 4. Once again, we multiply the powers. So that's 7 to the power of negative 12. 2 to the power of negative 4 raised to the power of negative 2. We multiply the powers, just be careful here. A negative 4 times a negative 2 will be positive 8. Now we're going to look at a very common error. Well, in the brackets we've got 2a squared, and we're going to raise that to the power of 3. And the common error that I see so often is that students will give an answer of 2 times a to the power of 6. So they apply the power 3 to the a term, but they forget to apply it to the 2 at the front. So what we need to do, we need to apply that power of 3 both to the 2 at the front and to the a squared. So 2 cubed becomes 8, and a squared cubed, we multiply the powers, the 2 times 3. So our final answer will be 8 times a to the power of 6. In the second example, following the first, remember, we must apply the power of 2 to both things in the bracket, to the 4 and to the b to the power of 5. So that's 4 squared and b to the power of 5 squared. 4 squared gives us a 16. B to the power of 5 squared, we multiply the two powers, so our final answer is 16 b to the power of 10. Let's apply the rule when we have 3 things in the bracket. In the first example, the power of 3 outside the bracket needs to be applied to each of the terms inside the bracket. So that would be 2 cubed, a squared cubed, and b cubed. 2 cubed is 8. A squared cubed, we multiply the powers. B cubed on the end. So our final answer is 8 a to the power of 6 b cubed. In example 2, the power of 2 outside the bracket must be applied to the three things inside the bracket. So that's 3 squared, a to the power of 4 squared, and b squared squared. 3 squared is 9. A to the power of 4 squared, we multiply the powers. B squared squared, we multiply the powers. So our final answer is 9, a to the power of 8, b to the power of 4. So let's put all that together in a recap. A power raised to a power means, well, there's the power, and that's it raised to a power. The rule tells us to multiply the powers. So a to the power of m raised to the power of n is a to the power of m times n. We multiply the powers. When we have two or more things inside the bracket, we must apply the power outside to each part of the term inside the bracket. So there are three parts to the term inside the bracket: 3, a to the power 4, and b squared. And we apply the power 2 outside the bracket to each of those three parts. So that would be 3 squared, a to the power 4 squared, and b squared squared. That would give us 9. A to the power of 4 squared, we would multiply the powers, and b squared squared, we would multiply the powers to give a final answer of 9, a to the power 8, b to the power of 4. And if there's anything about the video you haven't understood, just watch it back. And if you have, that's great, because that's the job done.